Gameranx presents yet another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight up gameplay and some first impressions of the latest games releasing. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm gonna bother with this one because the internet's already made up their mind on it, but hey, I'm gonna try and give it a fair shake. I'm Jake Baldino, and today we're gonna talk about Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Basically what I'm trying to say before I kick it off here is that it's just fine. Say what you want about Infinite Warfare, but you can't deny that it's a pretty full package. I'm gonna break it down by each feature or aspect of the game, and I'm gonna start with the single player. The single player just might end up being your favorite part of Infinite Warfare. A lot of people out there have been praising it to high heaven, and I don't think it's as amazing as people are making it out to be, but I do think it is still something special and still something at least worth playing through, because I think Infinite Warfare is the first time that they really got the whole future thing right. It feels very unique, and it feels very futuristic, but it still manages to feel significantly Call of Duty, you know? There's a big emphasis on real war and realistic feeling soldiers and weapons and call signs and names and stuff like that, but it's also combined with some pretty top-end sci-fi stuff. You're blasting in warp space from planet to planet, you're fighting robots, you're hopping around with a grappling hook in space. It kind of feels like a combination between a little bit of Star Wars, Starship Troopers, Wing Commander, a little Star Trek. It takes a lot of influences and it wears them on their sleeves, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Basically, once planet Earth went out and started exploring space and colonizing different planets, eventually people that were born on other planets broke off and formed their own federation, and now they're fighting against Earth. And you assume the role of Captain Reyes and you go on this whole adventure that also feels kind of Mass Effect, at least in the structure. You're the captain of your ship. You can walk around, you can talk to your soldiers, you can hang out in your quarters, and then you can look at the space map and choose your mission. Yeah, there's actually even side missions. There's a lot of stuff to play through here in single player, and I think that's probably its best thing. It still has all the signature Call of Duty campaign action set piece moments and crazy over the top shooting and shit, but there's just a bit more of it because there's a lot of stuff to play through, not to mention the fact that you can hop in your Jackal and basically do space dogfighting, which feels fleshed out enough and it's actually fun. It's very simple, it's very light and accessible, but it's a nice break from pace because that's what I think this campaign has going for it. It is definitely well paced. I also really like what they tried to do with the story. While it definitely falls flat sometimes, I enjoy the characters. I really liked Reyes and Salt, the main characters, because they're older soldiers. They're not just perfect people. They come off a bit more older and a bit more grizzled, and it was cool to see that perspective playing as Reyes, you know? Like I said, it's not perfect though. Ultimately, the story isn't as satisfying as the actual presentation of it, but it does have its moments and there are just some cool things happening. But ultimately, by the end, you might feel a little bit underwhelmed, but I still think this is really good, and it's probably one of the better Call of Duty campaigns in a while. Yeah, seriously. And I think this is good. I think we're in like the prime time of games that usually focus on multiplayer. They're actually giving us really good campaigns, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is no slouch in that regard. And honestly, if you're a hardcore Call of Duty person, you're gonna be playing the multiplayer no matter what, but if you're that in-between type of person like me, the single-player campaign is probably gonna be your favorite part of this offering, because now I want to talk about the multiplayer, and while I think it's pretty good, it's solid, and they did innovate enough to really make it feel different, it still just doesn't feel as fresh as I want it to be. Now keep in mind, my perspective, I'm somebody that's been burnt out on Call of Duty like many of you, and I was hoping to really find something in this one to really bring me back. And it came close, but ultimately I still find my brain going back to some other games that have been releasing this season. I don't want to name names, because I don't want to really compare this game to others, but I will say the multiplayer is fun in short bursts, and it's not fundamentally broken at all. You know, it's really just, at this point, I think, just a taste thing. If you're down with the TTK here, and you just love Call of Duty, there's more of it here. Congratulations. But if you haven't played Call of Duty in a while and you're just really over the whole die, repeat, crazy frenetic action that some people really love it for, but maybe you're kind of not into it. But if you are a fan of the multiplayer, look, I don't know if some of the little nuances here are really going to piss you off, and you know, some changes might alienate you, but I really like some of the things they did, especially with now the more character-based classes. They kind of had this going on in Black Ops 3, but now it's basically like you choose your rig and you get a special alt ability with it. You know, of course, you still get to customize your character and customize your weapon and loadouts, but now there's just a little bit of an added class depth strategy to it, and I like it. It almost doesn't feel like it really fits in with Call of Duty that well, and at the end of the day, when you're playing in your moment-to-moment gameplay, you don't notice too much of a difference, but at least it gives you a little bit of an extra layer of customization and strategy in a game that doesn't always often embrace strategy or tactics at all. And the special abilities that you can access are pretty cool. They're all really satisfying. And now there's the ability to craft weapons, and they all have different traits and attributes and different levels, sort of like a color-coded level similar to to weapons in Destiny. The score streaks are pretty good. My favorite is this big RC8 robot that you can call in, and you can either let him run around and fuck shit up, or you can hack in and control him and do what you want. And I think the maps are good, even though not all of them really embrace the wall running and the sliding mechanics. The ones that do definitely improve the gameplay overall, but I do like some of the more flat levels, especially Throwback. I think that's a really good map. Breakout is another lane-based map that I really enjoy, and Terminal, which is now all sci-fi and spaced out, but it's still the map you know and love, and I play that one a lot. The modes you expect are all there, all the fan favorites, and I really like this new Defender mode. It almost feels a little bit like Tag or Dodgeball or something, and it can get really crazy, but really fun. And now, of course, there's even more progression this time around with mission teams, which you can sign up for and complete certain objectives and work almost like an online community team. And then, of course, there's still supply drops, which some people get obsessive over, some people really freak out about them. And ultimately, whatever, it's easy to ignore them, even though the game does feel a little bit more pay to win this time around with the way it treats weapons. But ultimately, you can still grind your way through the weapons, although the grind even feels longer than usual. It's not very forgiving, but I think hardcore players aren't really going to give a shit about that. Basically, it's the modern Call of Duty multiplayer that you've come to expect, with a bunch of new stuff that does give you more things to do and does improve the game. Is it going to matter to some people? No, not at all. Is it going to win over people that haven't played a Call of Duty in a while? No, I don't think so at all. Are fans going to be happy with this though? Yeah, I think so. It's a really good combination of Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare, and some new stuff thrown in. And you know, since some of you guys do actually come around for my opinion here, I'm just not feeling it. I have sunk a ton of hours into it for this video, and I did enjoy myself, but ultimately there's a lot of other games pulling me back, and I'm gonna go play those. No offense to Call of Duty, it's just still not putting its hooks in me like it used to. The other offering that is still pretty good for the people that go for it is Zombies. Now it's Zombies in Spaceland, and it's got even more personality than last time around. It's a bit obnoxious and it's a bit goofy, but it's the most fleshed out Zombies mode yet. And for the people that play that, I think they're gonna be really excited about this, but that's just me. What I do want to take the time and talk about is that if you do get the Legacy edition of this game, if you do get suckered into spending, you know, $20 or so more than just a regular copy of Infinite Warfare, you get the Legacy edition that gives you Modern Warfare Remastered. And goddamn it, as much as I didn't like feeling suckered into buying Infinite Warfare to get Modern Warfare Remastered, this is a damn good remaster, okay? This is the campaign for Modern Warfare, and it's beautiful now. They did a really good job with it. I cruised through the whole campaign. It brought back great memories, and it has aged surprisingly well. And the new lighting and textures make it look and feel much, much better. It doesn't feel quite like a modern game, but it's, like I said, it has aged pretty damn well. Not only that, but this Modern Warfare Remastered gives you 10 Modern Warfare maps and traditional Modern Warfare multiplayer, which was one of my favorites back in the day. And jumping into it feels like going back in time. You'll pick up all the maps, you'll pick up all the weapons and how everything feels right away. If you had any doubt about how it would feel, let me reassure you that it's pretty good. It's the real deal here. You know, this is probably predictable, and I know a lot of people are saying this, but yes, I enjoyed Modern Warfare Remastered and the Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer much more than the rest of Infinite Warfare. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I don't think Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is that bad. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's not horrible, and I don't even think it's worthy of being disliked so much on YouTube. It's solid all around, but the biggest negative for me is just the multiplayer. It's still just not my thing, and it's not going to be many other people's things. They did a good job with it, but it just still doesn't feel fresh enough. But everything else, including the pretty surprisingly good campaign, is decent, and I do suggest giving it a shot somewhere down the line. I'm struggling here, but basically what I'm trying to say is that unless you're a hardcore Call of Duty fan, you don't need to run out and buy this thing immediately. But also, don't completely write it off. Do you get what I'm saying? But you guys know that's a before you buy. I give you the pros, the cons, and some personal opinion thrown in, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. Let's talk about this game. I know people have a lot to say about it. I know a lot of people hate it, but I also know a lot of people love it to death. So I want to hear whatever you have to say down in the comments below. I didn't have time to get into the nitty-gritty minutia of every single facet of the game, but I do want to hear what you guys think. And I'm also going to be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino, talking to you guys over there as well. You guys know the deal. Clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we really, really appreciate it here. And subscribing if you're new is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Move, dead ahead. Keep it dark, Captain.